Welcome to the May episode of Transaction Review and Calculator Practice. I really love these times that we get together. We get to actually crunch the calculator. And today or tonight, we have a really special offering from one of our own members, David Ray, who really has an amazing little niche operation that he does. And I hope to learn enough personally to start adding that in with the strategies that I'm employing here in my hometown of Carson City, Nevada. So please stick around for him. It's going to be an eye popper. All right, standard disclaimer. This is just for educational and comic relief, if you will. I'm just kidding. Basically, you have to do your own due diligence, so, we're just doing the best we can to share some ideas. You always rely on your own trusted advisors, please. Okay, special announcements. We've had several every month. We're getting new members, which is really phenomenal. And our newest one since we were on together is Drew DeBerry in San Antonio, Texas, Zenon Wang, who I haven't had the pleasure of talking to by phone yet. I hope that is too. And then come soon. And then Duran Harmon from, I forget which part of Florida, but we'll have you on later today, Duran. We had a great conversation earlier today to get to know each other a little bit. And he's got a lot of good experience and fabulous ideas for how he and his family are going to step it up in terms of in real estate and note investing in their area. And he wants to pass it on to his kids, which I love to do as well. So welcome to you. Thank you so much. You're the lifeblood. We keep it going here in the community. All right. So very quickly, what I wanted to do is I want to bring up a real live example of something that I've been working on just this week. So because it gives us a chance just to use this financial calculator. If you don't have one already, please go to In a Day Development and get this HP 10B2 financial calculator. That's my favorite, and I have it on my iPhone, and here it is on the desktop. It's my very, very special friend. So here's just a quick deal that is actually really fresh. So I had an attorney call me, and he had some clients that really needed to sell a fairly high-end property in Southern California. And just to maintain anonymity, I won't be making too many specific references, but they needed to be out and sold yesterday, and they finally got an offer that they accepted. The offer ended up, just for ease of numbers, $4 million sale price, and they wanted owner financing, but they were willing to put $2 million down. So that is a 50% down payment. And is that a good payment or is that a bad payment? Is that a good percentage? Hey, please unmute yourself. I don't like to be lonely.
It's awesome.
Isn't that great? Okay, would you consider that a fairly decent down payment?
It's
right?
Incredible.
Okay, so then obviously that leaves $2 million for a loan amount, right? So that's going to go here in PV, or present value loan amount. That's what that is. And then they went back and forth on terms, and I was consulting with them a little bit because they were kind of going, if my clients need to sell their note, how can they get the highest possible price, considering we've already locked in the most interest rate they will pay is 5.5%. And the most they'll put down is the $2 million. So we already know those things got locked in, but they hadn't got anything else, and they were sort of assuming that I'm going to recall here make it a negative here, and I'm going to put that into my future value. They were sort of thinking in their heads, it hadn't been written down yet. None of the agents had specified what the terms would be. So it was kind of left open for me. I had that to work with, but they thought it would just be interest only and just the 2-year balloon. So pretty short term. And because it's someone selling the primary residence, they're not considered loan originators. We're not really worried about Dodd-Frank here at all. So if I put that number, they assumed that the monthly payment would be this interest-only payment of $9,100, which, so as it so happens, covers their underlying bank loan with a payment of just under $8,000. So they were going to make about $1,100, $1,200 a month spread on this. But if they needed to sell, what's the rule, right? More money sooner is better. So I said it wasn't really specified, so why should it be interest only? And it doesn't, in this situation with a short term, it doesn't make as big of a difference as it would if there were a longer term. But in this case, I just said, well, let's do an aggressive amortization. They got their interest rate. They don't care. So now what we have is, oops, I forgot to put this back to 0. So we're going to do, that is a full 15-year AM, but we know there's a 2-year call, maturity date, balloon, put that back in over there, right? So this is what the note looks like as it's being inked literally this week. And so basically that helps a little bit. Now look at this, they're going to get their $16,000 a month, and the underlying on their bank loan that, we're doing a wrap of the underlying bank loan. Now they get a positive cash flow of $8,300 a month, which is a lot better than $1,200 a month. So they're ecstatic about that. And it helps to preserve the present value of the note. And because of the type of the collateral and where it is, I found a note investor that, now they haven't agreed to sell the note, but if they did, I'm ready with this kind of an offer. They're agreed to take a 7.5% yield. I think I might have even found someone who could do 7. But see, that's a very conservative yield. And so basically, if they needed to sell the note, they could get, right, barely any discount, right? And of course, I've got to make something, for putting the deal together. So there's a couple points in there probably. But that is, divided by 2 million. That is basically, 95 cents on the dollar or whatever, somewhere between 93 and 94 cents by the time you count, some broker fees and closing fees there. But that is stunning, is it not? To get
unbelievable,
right? So this was an unusual one. It really stood out to me, but I just thought it was a fun way to just have a little more practice. Every week we'll do a little bit more. So anyway, all right. So, I don't know. Thanks for sharing that with me, and we will move on. And we've got special David Ray, who's one of our citizens of the realm over here in the Queendom. He's just been with us for quite a while. He's a very generous guy. He shares what he knows. He knows a lot. He's, actively, slamming out there in the market. And he's been generous enough to spend his time and share his expertise with us so that we can have, expand the strategies that we're aware of to put deals together to solve financial problems. So, this, David, I'm going to let you introduce yourself a little bit. I really just appreciate you so much for what you've represented to us so far, and this just take it to a whole nother level. And don't forget at the end, to kind of pitch you're having a new little group that you started. So please promote yourself. But I'm excited for you to just kind of tell us a little bit about you and take it from here.
Well, thank you, Dawn. It really is a delight and honor and a privilege to be able to speak with everybody. And I just love this kind of stuff. I eat, live, breathe, and sleep this, and looking for creative ways to solve problems, as Dawn has so often said in many of her presentations that she gives, podcasts, etc. So it is really finding problems and solving them is what's going to make you a ton of money. Mm-hmm. And if you can do that for people, the rewards are tremendous, not only to yourself as an individual, but it's going to be a tremendous reward to the folks that you're helping out because you're solving a problem for them. And a long time ago, I learned the best thing to do is to look for problems and figure out the ways to solve them. So don't be afraid of the problem, just look for the solutions for them, and you'll end up being the hero in the situation. And everybody wins in this, especially what I'm getting ready to do.